welcome to the Elseworlds Exchange. I'm Sal.
And I'm Joel.
Hey, and guess what? It's not just going to be the two of us. There may be a third party. But before we get there, let's get into what we're doing here. Today, our topic is there's Amalgam's back, baby. We're back.
Can't believe
it's
it.
happening. I can't either, man. I'm so effing thrilled that we're getting, and because you know what, I'm going to be honest with you. You know, people are like, "Oh man, Sal's the crossover guy. He must be the Amalgam guy." When I was a kid, I definitely read DC versus Marvel when it was coming out. I was hyped. I was in. I was supremely disappointed that Superboy was fighting freaking Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But when they did the Amalgam thing, I couldn't wait for it to be over. I literally couldn't care less about any of the things. Like, it was so forgivably short in the actual like 4-issue miniseries where like they show up and then they leave, and I was like, what the hell was that? And then I had to retroactively find old Amalgam books to like figure out what I was missing, because I rejected it out of hand. I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah, this is definitely, people remember this for the spectacle. They do not remember it for the quality.
No, but having revisited much of it, there was actually quite a bit of quality in this series.
Well,
like
good.
There were a lot of like the creative teams were just having fun and trying things and being original and creative.
As you should.
And knew they were knew it was a one-off, knew it was a lark. Like, let's just play. But if you were under a rock or just aren't plugged into the comic book scene that directly, which I completely understand and don't feel bad about this, but Amalgam's coming back in the form of an omnibus. We're getting 2 omnibuses from Marvel and DC. We're getting DC versus Marvel, the omnibus that will collect every single DC Marvel crossover. So that's really exciting. This is the new cover, which is just an updated colored version of the George Perez cover from the first trade paperback of Crossover Classics. For my money, it can't be beat. It's so good looking.
Nice.
And it just hypes me up for more DC Marvel crossovers, which may be on the horizon. They haven't said anything, but for now, we're getting an omnibus of the DC Marvel crossovers, and then at the same exact time, we're getting an omnibus of all the Amalgams. So we're getting 2 omnibuses, about $120 a piece, $130 a piece. So make sure if you have the scratch or you want to have the scratch, they come out in August. Pre-order these books. Definitely. I will as well. But if you don't, at least go to like in-stock trades and try to get a discount. But in the meantime, in addition to this, that was what I just showcased. By the way, this was the cover of I think volume 2 of the Amalgam trade paperbacks that they very quickly like slapped together over 15 years ago. And it was originally the cover for the Amalgam omnibus that we were getting. And it was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's fair. But then yesterday, Jim freaking Lee came out and dropped this sketch that is going to be the Amalgam omnibus hardcover. It's friggin' Jim Lee depicted Amalgam universe. Oh my God.
Can't do much better than that.
And it also shows the level of involvement that the top brass is involved with.
They care. They're invested. Probably because they know that this is going to, probably sell like hotcakes because people weren't allowed to buy it for the longest time. And God willing, if it does well, it will lead to possibly further, further working together.
And that is the topic of discussion today, is if we do get more Amalgams. And my hope is that we get a combination of the perfect storm that created Amalgam in the first place, which was a DC versus Marvel event, crossovers that took place before and after the event itself.
Right.
Just irrespective of the crossover, like Daredevil versus Batman and Spider-Man and Superman and whatnot. But also more Amalgams. And so maybe we'll get those. And so if there were to be more Amalgams, and I can imagine there being some fans of Doctor Strange Fate and Dark Claw and Super Soldier and Amazon and Spider-Boy, etc. But wouldn't it be fun to imagine a world where they tried it again or did it again? So we're going to pitch a couple of new Amalgams for you folks at home.
This is kind of a sequel episode, actually. I believe in like the first year and a half of Elseworlds Exchange's life cycle, we did an Amalgam episode, and I remember really buckling down in there and being like, oh, I got to find characters that complement each other, that have, great marketable names. I didn't do that this time. I did full-on dumb bullshit Venture Brothers. I start with the punny name and I work my way backwards because I knew if I didn't, I'd just repeat myself.
That's fair. That's fair. My approach was I limited myself, or I started to limit myself only with anti-heroes. And I just plucked characters that I thought would be fun, not necessarily what would make the most sense to see merged, because honestly, some of these make sense, but others don't.
A lot of them don't. A lot of them were just, throwing darts at the board and seeing what hit.
Especially if you read DC Marvel All Access, that event saw the character Access, who is a character I hope we never see again, but either way. But he created new amalgams in that story just from who was available. So he merged Bishop and Superman. Lord knows what his character name was, but I do know that the crest that was an S was an M. So whatever. But my point being, like they were just off the top of their head and they're trying stuff. So we're pitching a couple of amalgams that are just kind of like, let's just see what happens. But to add some stakes to this, some thick, juicy stakes to this episode. I figure, we've done this so many times from the armchair, just like, oh, you know what Marvel and DC should do? I know what they should do, and I know what they would do, or I can pretty much guarantee what they would do, but we don't know because we don't work there. We're not from behind the scenes. Well, it occurred to me that I got another co-host on another show on this channel called All Stars, starring Joshua Williamson, writer of The Dark Crisis and Birthright and Nailbiter, etc., and the current Green Arrow series, Superman, for God's sake. And he is a guy that I have in my phone. I thought, maybe I should ask Josh what he thinks. And so around the halfway mark of this episode, we're gonna pitch these ideas to a real life comic book guy, and he's gonna let us know whether that's actually a good idea, a marketable idea, or the worst idea he's ever heard. For all intents and purposes, Joshua Williamson is going to be the editor-in-chief of Amalgam Comics, and he's going to listen to our ideas, and then we're going to pitch them to him and see what he thinks. Unless he has anything better to do. I'm leaving that open because he is a very busy person. We were chatting earlier, and he's like, that sounds like I could make it, maybe. And I was like, well, then I'll give you the link, and we'll see what happens. So...
amazing. The one time we get to pitch to an actual comic pro is the episode where I'm like, yeah, so I put together just a bunch of dumb bullshit because I didn't want to repeat myself.
And I will say, intrepid viewers at home, I did tell Joel that this was a prospect. So it was he had time to pull a fast one and try. But before we do that, let's jump into some super chats because that's how this show is sponsored. If you want to help us out, you can do so by either joining the patreon.com/ComicPop or by doing super chats here like Derpius Derps, who says, hey guys, sending this before the stream as I can't stick around. I think an interesting combination would be U.S. Agent and Superboy Connor Kent. You didn't have a name. You got to give us a name too. But I do have a U.S. Agent merge. Joel, to you.
I don't actually, but I would call this one American Boy, like the Estelle song.
I love it. Mitchell says, hi guys, it's been a while since I did a super chat. I love the show. As always, keep up the good work. How about combining Spider-Man, Miles, and Blue Beetle, Jaime, to make the Sapphire Spider?
Ooh, nice.
Dig it. I did not think of Jaime or Miles, but I didn't want to do an entire spider-centric thing.
I had a whole thing there. I had the name TikTok because, like I said, I started with the pun names first and wanted to work backwards. So I'm like, Clock King and Miles become TikTok, but he's a spider. He's not a tick. So the bug thing is there. So are there any tick-themed villains? I know there's the Tick, but that's not Marvel or DC, and I just can't start throwing them in there, and it would be anarchy.
Exactly. John Kata combined Death's Head with Lobo. No idea what you call him.
Ooh.
I know exactly what you call him, but I'm also using that name, so you'll see it later in the episode. It's not this combination, but it's also the name I would absolutely use for this combination. I'm sure in the chat they could figure it out. Hulkzilla.
Suntan Biker Man.
I enjoyed the Star Wars episode. Oh, from our sister show Back Issues over on youtube.com/ComicPop. Hope you guys have a great weekend. You too, my friend. And here's my amalgam character, Spider God, and Barbatos equals Spider Batos.
I mean, wouldn't the Spider God be Anasazi?
Anansi. Yeah, so Anansoto? No, Barbansi? Nah.
Yeah, because anyway. Barbados has the word bat in it, so should it also have the word spider in it?
Right? Mr. Ketch, happy Friday. You too, my friend. Thanks for giving great content. My pitch is Kang and Rolgazar. Kill two birds, one stone. I do have a Rolgazar pitch, but we don't have a good name. We'll see. And Juwan Fincher, Tim Drake, and Iron Fist, Red Dragon, or just Drake. Middle English for dragon.
Well, that's
Hey,
also true.
better use of the word Drake than Bendis did.
Big agree. I bet his suit wouldn't be brown.
Probably not. You don't want to go with brown unless it's a leather trench coat.
Mm.
Hey, you with the face. I'm late, but an obvious combination is Daredevil and Batman. Hellbat or Devilbat. I agree. I think I have a Daredevil pitch. My wife said it was the weakest one I've got. And it takes a lot of explanation.
The Hellbat armor already exists, so you're kind of leaning on a thing that already exists. Like, bat out of hell, but that's too many words.
Exactly. So, without further ado, let's get through our ideas before we get to the halfway point so that we can make sure we just throw these ideas at this comic book writer who has way more important things to do with his spare time.
Writing
Joel,
the actual stories that we're going to read and enjoy and talk about.
Yeah. What do you got, man? What do you want to start with?
All right, so this is the first one that came to my mind. Like I said, I'm Venture Brothersing it. I'm starting with a name pun concept and working backwards. So let's take Dr. Light, a pretty underutilized DC villain, who I think, God, we haven't seen for a very long time. Feels like as soon as they made... Yeah, I know. It feels like the second they made that character an actual, sex criminal, they were afraid to ever use him ever again in any meaningful way. So he's pretty scary. Then you have Marvel's Nightmare, who is scary by design. You put the two characters together and you get Dr. Lightmare.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to go with Nightlight, but I like Dr. Lightmare.
Again, Venture Brothersing it, because the name is kind of a joke. And the second you read that in a book, you're like, Lightmare, that's pretty good.
Listen, there were like, I think 14 different Amalgam characters they threw at you in the Spider-Boy issue. So like that character exists in the Ultimate Universe or in the Amalgam universe, no question about that. Ultimate Oreo, Carter Hall, and T'Challa, the Eternal King or the Griffin.
Ooh, I like the Griffin. I like that.
I like Griffin too. For me, I've got Jessica Jones.
Nice.
And Catwoman, Jewel Thief.
Oh, goddamn. That's good. That's some good shit right there. I like it a lot.
So stupid. But I was like, I want to use characters because I mean, like, yes, you could make Elektra and Catwoman. I don't know what that would be. Cat Ninja. Either way, I don't want to do that. So it was like Jessica Jones, Cat Scratch. Plus, it's like, no. You don't want to do characters that you could have done in 1994.
Yes.
Best one, end the stream.
Yeah, exactly. No topping that one.
RNDS24. Will we ever get another episode of about Rick and Morty? Probably not. We did do a one-shot many years ago. So
new season's good. In fact, I think the new season's probably some of the strongest stuff they've done. Best finale in that last season that they've maybe ever done.
I also enjoyed this season as well. Extra Medium, Nightwing, and Daredevil. Nightwatch. Ooh, that's not a bad one. I do have a mine is also Daredevil and Nightwing. We'll talk about that later. Joel, what else you got, man?
So Kraven the Hunter, big game hunter. Everyone loves him. So many options you could go with there. And Roulette, who was actually in a Joshua Williamson story just recently for the Batman and Robin annual. I swear I didn't put this in just to curry favor with him, but I've always loved Roulette. Great design. You put the two characters together and you get Russian Roulette.
Nice. There we go. Ha-ha.
Total Venture Brothers shit.
Yes, absolutely. Dude, I also did a Joshua Williamson pandering one, so hang on. But before you go to that, Jones to 25 full, Peacemaker and U.S. Agent, Chris Walker, Agent of Peace.
Oh, that's a good mashup, especially now more than ever.
Right. KB says Deadpool and Booster Gold. Dead Gold? I guess I'll go with my U.S. Agent one. I've got U.S. Agent and Peacemaker. I merged the names. His name's John Smith.
Of course.
Good American name. His name is Freedom Ring.
Oh, that's good.
Just a sycophant, jackbooted.
Love it. I was going to say he was either going to be that or he's the right winger.
The right winger. Oh, I like that one too. What else you got, man?
Okay, what else do I got going on? Okay, so this one again, working solely on puns. Screwball. Again, if you want to talk about characters who didn't exist back then.
Yes.
Super annoying, but super prominent. You fuse her with the Mad Hatter and you get the Mad Batter. because you have a baseball, because that's what she is, Screwball. She's a ball, and Hatter sounds like batter. This is like, okay, you're kind of not trying. Again, you started with the pun and worked backwards, but I'll allow it because the Mad Batter. There's not a lot of like baseball themed villains. I guess I could have done Screwball and Sportsmaster, and maybe that could have been the Mad Batter.
Yeah, it could have been what's God, like utility closet, or what the hell do they call like the where they keep the sports equipment,
where they keep all this shit.
Yeah, you could tell that I am not exactly the biggest sports person.
Hey, sports ball.
Exactly, sports ball. Hey, ultimate. Let's see. Git Sheedy, Laura Kinney, and Cassie Kane, Lady X, maybe. I also merged Laura and Cassie.
I like it.
Laura Kinney and Cassandra Kane. I call her Cassie Caney. Her superhero name is Garrote.
Garrote, like The Wire. Cool.
Yeah, The Wire, because it like silences you, but also it's an assassinating weapon.
Oh, wow! You dug even deeper. I was going to be like, hey, you could have just called her Femme Fatale, but no, that's great because of the voice thing.
The voice thing, exactly. Yeah, she's silent but deadly. So I guess the fart, but I chose not to go with that. Derpy's the Derps Returns back because I thought of another one. Etrigan and Moon Knight, the Demon Khonshu. There you go. Multiple personality. Mark Spector, Jason Blood, and Khonshu. Yeah, there's a lot of people rattle around up there. That'd be kind of fun. Denial. I got one for you. Mix the Red Skull and Insomnia. You get the Red Scare. For Super Soldier, weaponizes Cold War paranoia of the Americans to destabilize the nation.
Love it. Love it. See, you got a pitch attached to it.
That's right. Yeah, you got an idea. Grumpy Goat, Harley Quinn, and Captain Marvel. Starla Quinn, the fourth pillar of the Amalgam Comics universe.
That's good. And you know what? I actually have a Captain Marvel pitch. I have a Captain Marvel pitch, which is very similar.
Let's hear it.
It's Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, and Starfire. They become Captain Starville. Because again, similar power set, and also what is binary if also not kind of a Starfire-esque character?
Yes, absolutely. No, definitely, especially from like the visuals. Oh man, you know artists somewhere. I genuinely hope there are a couple of artists out there who are fans of this show who were like,
please.
I'm sorry, what? Nine-Tail Phoenix. I just thought that it would be cool to see Null and Perpetua. Nooper. We got workshop that name. I agree. I guess just
because Null is nothing in Perpetua, perpetual motion. What are those things when they come together?
I mean, I guess. Oh man, I do have a name. Yeah, no. I have a name for that. I have a name I was going to use, but like, we'll hang on.
All right, cool.
John Cotta, Deathstroke and Bullseye, Stroke Bulls. Why not call him Rocky Mountain? Or Rocky Mountain Oyster. Tevia, my pitch, Superboy, and Mayday into Super Spider. Damian and X-23 to Weapon R. Oh, there you go. Not bad.
Yeah, Weapon R, there's a lot of stuff you can put with the letters on it, actually.
Exactly.
I wanted to work out something for D-Man, because I wanted it to... I was trying to work my way up to a D's nuts joke, but I couldn't make it work.
Oh, yeah. I guess D-Man and Squirrel Girl?
But they're both Marvel, though, so...
Oh, yeah, that's right. No, you're right. Good point. Shit. Let's see. I've got Winter Soldier and Azrael. I got Red Claw.
Not bad at all.
DC character that nobody uses because, animated series. I don't know.
Might as well. I dig it.
This is one I wanted to use. I was like, oh, maybe I can do all of them. And then I threw that idea away because I didn't. It was so forced. But I picked one member of Wildcats.
Ooh, cool.
And you know exactly what I'm going to say. It's Jean Grey and Void Gray Matter.
A+.
Right? So
A+, no notes.
I wrote Void, Jean Grey, Gray Matter. It was that exact amount of time it took to come up with that name.
I like it. Okay, I see that, and I raise you Volcana. Really underrated Superman, villainous. Great design, actually doing really well on the Harley Quinn show right now. We fuse her with Ravonna Renslayer, and you get the villainous Hot Minute.
Hot Minute. I love
Hot Minute.
Hot Minute. Oh, man. Yeah. Hot Minute. That's better than New York Minute. I like that.
That's what I started with. I'm like, there are so many Marvel heroes from New York, so it could really be anyone, and none of them really exemplify New York entirely.
No, and you can say like, I'll be there in a hot minute. No, that's an expression. It does work. Gavin Stott. My pitch is Red Sun, a mix of Zod and Red Skull. Space fascists to combat Super Soldier, make the Kryptonians more like Viltrumites. I know a lot of people want to do that. You can imagine, I'm sure there's somebody at DC who's desperately trying to change everything.
Also,
Make that
hey,
the thing.
aren't one of the Super Twins? Don't they actually have Red Sun now? Is what they actually go by. That's their code name.
Oh, yeah. That's
Red
true.
Sun and Starchild.
Yeah. There you go. Thorn Identity, welcome back to the show, my friend. She-Hulk and OMAC, Owa, One Woman
Ooh,
Army.
I
Oh,
dig it.
One
I
Woman
dig it a
Army.
lot, actually. I
Yeah, you
really
could
dig that
see
one.
you could just it writes itself, and you could see like, oh, it's part of the Gamut program, maybe some kind of like clandestine organization like
And,
Weapon
and
Eight.
and I
Yeah,
can see the design and OMAC's general color scheme and everything would work really well worn by
on
Jen.
She-Hulk. Yes.
That's
Oh, I like that a lot.
good. That's good, Thorn Identity. That's good.
Jam collects Quasar and Green Lantern as Halogen, the stalwart sentinel shining bright against the darkness. Halogen. Good use of
Oh,
Halogen.
nice.
The CNT connoisseur, Cassie Kane, and Echo Silence. Yeah.
Hmm.
The question in J. Jonah Jameson is conspiracy. I kind of love the idea of J. Jonah Jameson. You know what it reminds me of is the animated series when he was like, I don't know, Hardball JJ or whatever the hell he called
That's
himself.
right, yeah.
And this guy, 9947, Robin and Damien, Spider Boy, Bailey, Red Spider. Ah, there you go. Spider Boy. What do you got, Joel? What else we got?
Okay, so this one made myself laugh, so of course I had to put this one in here.
You have to.
Sunfire, X-Men, who actually had a pretty good run in the
Yes.
Duggan stories there. He had a lot going on there, always had a good design. You mix him together with Suicide Squad, Stalwart, Deadshot, you put them together and you get Gunfire.
Gunfire, good. And that way you can have him go head to head with the Bloodlines Gunfire character.
My question is though, do his guns shoot fire or does his fire shoot guns? Is the real
Oh my
question.
god, yeah. That's we're gonna figure that out. We'll have to let the artists see what they want to draw the most.
Yeah, really.
Right, firing guns. Fable got to have Carol and Kara mixed with the unique genetic marvels, and their name would be Captain Argo. Oh,
hey,
like
fun.
That's not bad. Nerdy Rock Comics, Magog and Wonder Man, Wonder Magog.
See, sometimes the name does the heavy lifting, and that's what I like about it.
It's true. Hey, you with the face, Cloak and Dagger with Hawk and Dove, Wing and Talon. I wanted to do a Cloak and Dagger idea so bad, and I couldn't think of it. Hawk and Dove, perfect combo. I love that idea.
That's pretty killer. I tried to think of something for the Talons, and nothing came to mind. I'm like, birds, owls, something.
Yeah, right? Like, Wing and a Prayer now. Yeah. Oh, Azrael and... Nope, they're both DC. Nine-Tail Phoenix, Genesis, Apocalypse's wife, and Poison Ivy, Mother Nature, or Nature's Fury. Mother Nature, stop drilling, you hit oil.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Exactly. Ooh, Bronze Panther, I like that one too. KB, Sam Alexander, and Jaime Reyes, two Latino heroes. They are two Latino heroes, but what do you do with that?
Both space, one has a helmet, one has a scarab.
Yeah. Maybe the scarab. Maybe it works like the Guyver, where the scarab is the helmet. It attaches to your face.
There's something there. Again, is there like a sort of space bug, something for a helmet, like a bug that wears it, what's it called? What's it actually called? The stuff.
Oh, an exoskeleton.
Yeah, well, not even just like chitin or something, like the thing that like bugs outer shells are actually made of, the official name.
Good lord. Yeah, there you go.
Like chitin or something like that. It's not a great name, but it kind of works. Again, we'll workshop this one and come back to it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We got to put that on the board. I've got one. Ghost Rider and Lobo. Bonesaw.
Yes, please. I want a 6-issue Bonesaw miniseries, please.
Right.
And does he just look like Macho Man?
I mean, he's got to ride a motorcycle, though. I just wonder if the motorcycle is flaming buzzsaws, like instead of wheels. Like Ghost Rider's got like motorcycle. Obviously, it's fire wheels, but I think no, it's got to have wheels made of metal that also are on fire.
I feel like I've seen that image, him riding a motorcycle made of chainsaws. Is that like a Danny Ketch thing? I feel like I saw that at one point, him riding a chainsaw. Did I dream it? Did I incept it?
I mean, it lends itself to the character, so I feel like
it does.
No point. Yeah, maybe. Dex Baker, Huntress and Psylocke, Mindhunter.
Oh, good.
Yeah, focus totality.
Love it.
What else you got? Any other zingers?
So here's some pretty obvious ones here. Kingpin and Black Manta come together to become the Kingfisher.
Oh, there we go. Yes, Kingfisher. That's
the number one aquatic crime lord.
Yeah. I wanted to put my robots together. I got Deathlock and Cyborg Superman. Death metal.
Ah, fuck yes. A
That would
million
be-
times yes.
Right? That would also be my name for Death's Head and
Death's Head.
Lobo.
It also works.
Is death metal. But yeah, Cyborg Superman. And it wouldn't be that he's Superman. It would be that like Hank Henshaw, you know, sorry, I'm hearing some crazy shit upstairs. And I'm like, what is that? I think it's just people cleaning off the roof because, yeah, we had some leaks here.
It's the people who live in the walls.
Yeah. How scary. And let's see, I've got a couple more left. How about you?
Oh yeah. I got a whole list of bullshit.
Oh, good. All right.
So I liked your death metal. I see your death metal, and I raise you steel with Iron Man foe Blizzard, and they become Cold Steel.
Cold Steel, I love it. That's good. Yeah, Cold Steel. Yeah,
and they're both guys in robot suits.
Yeah, totally. Oh yeah, no. Oh, I can imagine him like putting on the suit and then hitting a button. It's like, and it's like,
yep.
It's cold on the outside.
Also, it's an upgrade for Blizzard, honestly.
Oh yeah, although I do love Blizzard's outfit. I wanted to do an episode of the show where we're like underutilized, like DF list characters with A list outfits.
That's a solid one too. Actually, I like that.
Right?
Signal Man, I think, has a good outfit despite
sucking.
sucking.
Right? It was inspired by Blizzard. I love Blizzard's look, but I'm like, he sucks.
Well, let's put a pin in that and let's come back to it.
Ultimate Oreo, Ghost Rider, and Firestorm, Bone Storm. Yep, Bart would love him, of course, at least for a few minutes. Juwan Fincher, Giganta and Cyclops, Lighthouse. That
Fuck
I like.
yeah.
King T. Akeem, Darkhawk and Steel, Dark Steel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good use of
Very
Darkhawk.
90s.
Nobody ever gets to him.
No.
And George J. I think Hulk and Omek could make a good combo. Yeah, I think so. Well, you're not too far off because we just heard a She-Hulk Omek comic.
Yeah, who would that be? What is it? Big something. Or military industrial complex. Too long. WMD.
Yeah, WMD. Boom. That's it. One of them I just did as a throwaway. It was Wreck Rap and Rogelzar. I call nope.
Print it. Here's some more silly ones here. Brainiac and the Mad Thinker come together to become the Overthinker.
That's a sell. That is a Venture Brothers character. That is an Amalgam character. That is 100%. He is in the universe. That is no question about that.
And he defeats himself every time because he can't actually work out a plan because he's constantly overthinking it.
Exactly. I put Uatu and Tempest Fugonaut together, of course, and made Uwatanot.
Dig it.
Just so stupid. That was my whatever. Uwatanot. So my Daredevil and Nightwing crossover requires a lot of effort and thought. Okay, so stay with me.
I will.
Nightwing names himself after the Kryptonian superhero from Krypton, Nightwing.
Yeah.
Daredevil names himself after the Judeo-Christian demon, the devil.
Yes.
So in Kryptonian mythology, there is a demon called Raykar the Nothing. So in this reality, it would be like Dick Murdoch,
which sounds good,
who decides to name himself after the Kryptonian devil to inspire fear. So he calls himself Nothing.
Oh, that's good. That's a thinker. Right. We put more than 10 seconds into this one.
It takes a lot of effort to get there, but so he'd be more or less a red Nightwing, but also
New 52.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh. But yeah, nothing. That's it. So
that's
terrible. Good. My wife was like, it's like the definition of esoteric, but all right, cool.
Again, here's another one Tiff would probably have notes for me on. So Toyman, who we all know from Superman, plus forgotten Spider-Man foe Paper Doll come together to become the action figure.
There you
Thank
go.
You. Thank you. I'll be here all week, everybody.
That's a good use. That's a good use of action figure. I think that's important. We need a character. No. Oh. What about Toyman and Arcade? Call him Toy Biz.
Fuck. Oh, why didn't I do that? That's so good. They are Toy Biz.
I gotta write that down. Toyman Arcade. Toy Biz.
Toy
Josh will like that one.
Biz, because video games are basically just toys.
Yeah. Uh-oh, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show, Mr. Joshua Williamson
Oh man,
himself.
just threw me right in there.
I know, sorry. Gave you no time.
1 second. No, it's
All right.
All right, I got my notepad.
Great.
Where you at?
All right.
Pitch process.
Well, as a matter of fact, and really quick, Joshua Williamson, Joel, my co-host on this show normally.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We just brainstormed this character. It's a merging of Toyman and arcade.
Hold on a second. I have a question for you with
yes.
this whole. I'm gonna take notes.
Yeah,
so,
please.
Toyman and arcade. That's really fun.
Right.
I think that's cool. Is that it?
No, the name.
Oh no, we got a whole name there.
Oh no, but isn't the only character you've amalgamated yet?
No, we did like a dozen already.
Okay,
cool. We've been speed rounding them.
Yeah.
Okay, good. For a moment there, I was like, bro,
Toyman and arcade. That's where you start.
Toyman and arcade. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. How long you been doing this for? Like an hour?
Yeah. That's all we can come up with. We're just
No, it's okay. I'll tell you my after Toyman.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
I think I told you about my amalgam idea when I was a kid. There was a wizard contest, and I drew a picture.
Yes.
I still have the picture somewhere. I'll tell you about it. But yeah, tell me. All right, I'm here. I'm ready. Toyman and arcade. Let's hear it. What you got? What's his name?
Toy Biz.
Yeah, they become Toy Biz. I pitched the action figure, but Sal fixed it, and he's like, "No, it's Toy Biz." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. It is Toy Biz."
It is Toy Biz. Holy crap, is it Toy Biz? That's
right.
I'm writing this down. Yes, dude.
Yes.
Toy Biz. That's so funny. Yeah. All right, you got me.
Ka-ching! All right.
Yeah.
By the way,
well, that's the
sick
thing, 'cause I was
hoodie,
like,
by the
"Where's
way.
the money at? Show me the money." There's always I think I'm not sure. Joel, are you a wrestling fan by any chance? Or are you like?
You better believe I am, sir.
All right, so we're gonna talk about this. Okay, so here's the thing. So there's an episode of the Stone Cold podcast where Paul Heyman comes on and he talks about Dusty Rhodes giving him advice about like there was this thing where one time way back in the day. Like in the 80s, Paul Heyman had to go out into the ring and like buy time. He had to buy there was some kind of mix up, and so you had to go out there and buy time for like 10 minutes. Just buy time, right? And so Paul Heyman is like, "Oh, I have the gift of gab. I can go out there. I can do the thing. I can, promo." And this is really early on, so Paul Heyman is like much younger, and he goes out there and he cuts this like 10-minute promo, and he's like running around the ring. He's been really funny, whatever. And he comes back to the back, and Dusty Rhodes. I'm not gonna do a Dusty Rhodes impersonation, but so Dusty Rhodes,
because everyone does.
Everyone does. Yeah. I had met Dusty Rhodes a bunch of times.
Wow.
I think I told the story before that Cody Rhodes used to work at the mall that I worked at. Like,
no way.
Yeah, so Cody would come in and we would talk. I need to email Cody, but anyway, so we were like, so Paul Heyman comes in the back, and Dusty Rhodes is like. He's like, "This is a great kid. You did a really good job, but I have one question for you." And Paul's like, "What is it?" And he's like, "Where's the money?" And Dusty was like, "What do you mean? Or Paul's like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" And he's like, "You didn't do anything. You didn't sell me anything. You didn't sell y'all anything. Like you were just running around like a jester, but you weren't selling me nothing. He's like, you weren't telling me anything. You weren't saying." You weren't there was no call to action. You weren't pointing me in any direction. And that's why Paul Heyman today is like, my name is Paul Heyman. He does the stuff he does, but also he's just like, he makes sure to say things like, "Oh, I am here for the advocate for the bloodline, and the bloodline is going to fight this Saturday, or at the time, this Sunday." There was call to actions to make you want to buy something.
And he's very good at it.
Whenever I hear pitches or stuff like that, there's a part of the back of my brain that hears Dusty Rhodes, and it's just like, "Where's the money?" So when you were like, Toyman Arcade, my first impulse is like, well, you're not gonna do a book about that. Like that's clearly a villain of whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say Toy Biz is money. Like
right?
That is really funny. I can see that. All right, so let's hear it. All right, what else you got? I like Toy. What else you got?
Nice. Now Joel went in kind of like a Venture Brothers route, so it's going to be more punny than.
I started with the pun name and worked backwards, mainly because this was kind of a sequel to show Sal and I did very early on, where I like really buckled down and thought hard, like, oh, who complements each other, who would have a good costume. This time I'm like, nah, if I do that, I'm just going to repeat myself. So the goal is to make Sal laugh and work backwards.
Hey, listen, I like puns. We can do it. Yeah, that's fun. I'll have to watch that other video then because I love people's like amalgam mashups and stuff.
Yeah.
Steve Orlando tried to get access into a book years ago, and he couldn't pull it. He couldn't pull it across.
Really?
It was like his goal. He was like, I want to get access, and then it just never. There was no way that was gonna happen. This is a while back. You probably guess what book it was if you know Steve.
I could definitely guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
he tried. Anyway, don't guess.
Mars did get access in a Green Lantern. He does show up in one Green Lantern.
I know. Man, isn't it crazy? This year is the this
40th
year's
anniversary or whatever.
Well, 30th anniversary.
30th.
Don't make us that old. Don't say 40. 30,
I was thinking of
30.
Turtles. I'm sorry. It's 30.
No, it's okay. Yeah, 30-year anniversary. This morning I was texting somebody and we were talking about something that was 30 years ago, and I was like, oh yeah, 0 hours 30 years ago, but so was like Kyle and a bunch of other stuff was 30 years ago, and then I was like, oh man, we're all old. Anyway.
Yeah. Bloodlines 30 years ago.
Technically not. That was last year.
Was it really?
It was last year. Hey man, come on.
No. Oh, it was 94. My bad. So
I might be wrong. It's 93. I'm like almost positive it's 93. But anyway,
I just pitched this to Joel. This was really esoteric. It takes a lot of work, and my wife immediately rejected it. So I can't wait to pitch this to you. Okay, so I think you're gonna like it because it's so like weird. So Daredevil and Nightwing, put them together.
Okay, as what?
Nothing.
Very Seinfeld.
Right. So here you go. Daredevil models himself after the Judeo-Christian demon, the devil, right? Yeah. And Nightwing names himself after the Kryptonian-based superhero, Nightwing.
Yes.
This character, whose name would be like Dick Murdoch or whatever, he names himself after Raykar the Nothing, the Kryptonian devil.
Oh, you want to literally call him Nothing?
Yeah, literally the name is Nothing.
It's a deep cut.
That's tough, dude. I get what you're saying, but that's
I know
tough.
it's
like there's no pun there, I guess that's the thing. It's
there's
like,
no fun. It's just
devil wing,
Yeah,
or I guess there's already you don't want to just call him like Night Devil, but yeah, devil is the more punny, but Nothing. Wow, that's a deep take. Okay, so oh man, all right. So what is he? Is he blind?
Right, he'd have to be blind, I think, because that's like the fun. Like, otherwise, what do you get? Radar sense with sight? No,
maybe he's just blind in one eye.
Well, in this world, there's only Super Soldier, right?
Yeah.
So how does he find out about Krypton?
Right.
Excellent question.
Maybe we merge him with like a Bucky situation, and he was Super Soldier's sidekick during the war.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's a really interesting mashup of stuff. Yeah, Daredevil and Nightwing. That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you think, yeah. But anyway, that was my like. That's a lot of work.
Nothing is a hard sell. I'll tell you. I feel like I'm that executive in the Seinfeld episodes where I was the show about nothing. And George is like nothing.
You went to work. That's the show.
Yeah, exactly. No. And
I can't be wrong. I mean, that's one of the most successful shows of all time. So that's why I'm sitting here being like, am I gonna be the person that turns down Seinfeld? Like
we got better ones. I got a million of them.
Toy Biz. I love Toy Biz though. We're gonna.
Toy Biz kept us in the room.
Yeah, Toy Biz is definitely on the wall.
Like here, let me throw you one. Let me throw you one that I haven't yet hit Joel with, because it's one that that they couldn't have done in the age, but now it makes perfect sense.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Deadpool and Harley Quinn.
Dude, I knew you were gonna say Harley. Deadpool,
I mean, obviously, you got to do Harley.
Yeah. I knew you were gonna say Harley because that's actually a really smart point. Of like that's where you start. You go, okay, what couldn't they do? What has been introduced since? So anything like 2000,
like Red Hood, Harley Quinn, Godspeed. I got a Godspeed.
Oh well, then you have to do. Do you do like? All right, hold on. All right, well, what is Harley and Deadpool's name?
Gimmick.
As wrestling fans, we appreciate a good gimmick.
Gimmick is really funny.
They're from the 90s.
You just call him Gimmick. Harley Quinn and Deadpool. You just call him Gimmick. So what's their story though? Were they like? I mean, I guess it's almost a similar story, right? It's like it's basically Harley when she got thrown into the vat. She came out looking like Deadpool.
Yeah, Hyena threw Hyena threw her in the vat, or Hyena, obviously the Amalgam character, Joker and Sabretooth. But
yeah. And the costumes are complimentary too, because you're working with a lot of red and black.
Yeah,
That's funny because you can just take Deadpool's costume and you could probably replace. I wonder if anyone's ever done that before. I feel like I've never seen that. Has anyone ever taken Deadpool's costume and switched basically his eyes would stay black, but this is white? I know I've seen that on like the black and white costume that he wore for a minute.
Yep.
But I don't think I've ever seen anybody take what is the black and make it white. That might be a cool design just in general.
We have a couple of great artists in the chat, I know. So like we're gonna see a couple of these characters show up. I'm really looking forward to it.
That's really funny. That definitely sounds like a sidekick to the hyena, like
The
that
hyena.
joke.
Yeah,
that definitely sounds like a sidekick to that.
Right.
That's cool. I like that. I like that one. All right, what else you got?
Joel, hit us with one of your best.
All right, well, let me hit you with one that you didn't hear. And now that I know that Josh and I are wrestling fans, he's really going to appreciate the little coded reference I made with this one. So you take Deacon Blackfire and Mr. Sinister, and you put them together, and they become Sinister Minister.
Yeah, that is funny. Yeah.
Yeah, that is funny.
I'm so glad you're here and can appreciate that on another level, unlike Sal, who isn't a wrestling fan. It's like, hey, he just made a Jim Mitchell reference.
I appreciate the rhyme scheme.
It's also
Dude,
too.
I like that. I mean that totally fits. As a character, you can totally see that.
Right.
So where are your heroes at? You're mostly focusing on villains here, which is interesting.
It's true.
Like, what would be the character that you're like? That's a character I would put on a book and have sell. Like what is the what is the big heavy hitter character?
I pitched this one earlier because I tried to stay away from like the bit from Spider-Man, because otherwise it was just going to become a free for all. So
that's funny because there's so many different. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Go on. Yeah.
Like I put Kane, Scarlet Spider, with Deathstroke.
What would you call it?
Spider Slayer.
You would just call him Spider Slayer?
Yeah.
I like the Spider Slayers. I like that title. I'm not sure. I think that thing. Well, let me ask you this with Amalgam. Did they use names that were already established? Because Spider Slayers, Spider Slayers.
It's true. Yeah, they're the robots. But
the robots.
Well, but in the Amalgam unit, I don't recall if they actually used Amazon being Storm and Wonder Woman. I mean, like there were Amazons, but but they didn't. Yeah, I didn't like.
Because there was like JLX, and there was obviously Darkwing, and then there was
the Metal Men.
The Metal Men, yeah. I'm trying to know what it was, but that's I'm not sure if that would be your heavy hitter in terms of like.
No, he's not a heavy hitter, but it's like
you're focusing. You guys are really focusing on villains. This is so fascinating.
True. Well, it's because we did one before where I think was more hero focused. Here's a good question for Spider Slayer though: one word, two words with a hyphen.
Ooh, I think you got to go hyphen because it's a spider character.
That's a good point. I'm looking at stuff here. I'm trying to think of like other hero characters because they pretty much did all the hero characters. But who has been introduced that people? Right. Who's been introduced since that crossover? Since Amalgam?
The Sentry?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a character we haven't used.
Oh, interesting. All right, yeah. So who would you cross Sentry over? Because obviously was out. Man, so
I have an idea for the character that I would merge him with already, but and it's a terrible idea because really quick, let me just sneak in this pitch. It's the let's piss off Alan Moore pitch. It's Miracle Man and Dr. Manhattan.
Ooh. You're playing with fire there, Sal.
Miracle Man and Dr. Manhattan.
His alias, his real name was John Bull, who is the UK Uncle Sam. In real life, like that's what Uncle Sam is in
what do you call him?
Yeah, his name is Dr. Miracle.
Yeah, Dr. Miracle. And then you have when it comes to like his sidekick, because so what's interesting about that is that that's what you would do. You do this story about the sidekick because we've already seen their stories essentially, and obviously seen the sidekick stories. But if you're going to do that, really what you're talking about is creating a sidekick for Dr. Manhattan. Right, like that's really what that is in a way, right? So yeah, Dr. Miracle, that's actually a really cool name. You should keep that for something else.
Thank you.
You should be like, that one's mine.
Dr. Miracle, I own that. Well, this episode is legally binding. Anything that I've created is my intellectual property.
Yeah. I like that, but then what do you call the kid?
What was the kid's name from Miracle Man?
Wasn't it just Miracle Kid? Somebody in here is gonna
they're gonna tell us.
Like, how dare you?
Yeah. Oh man. Because I was going to say you could merge Dr. Manhattan and the Sentry into something. That'd be like your heavy hitters. But I think, since we have Dr. Manbattan, I feel like all bets are off at this point.
Yeah, that's funny. No, Sentry's interesting. That is a character that hasn't been around.
Yeah, and he'd be kind of a fun character.
Indeed.
Oh, it's just Kid Miracle.
It is Kid Miracle. Well, I saw it's Kid Miracle Man. Is it just Kid Miracle? Well,
Kid Miracle Man. Thank you, Thorne. You got it.
All right, so we were right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, then Sentry, that's really interesting because it's like, okay, well, who was a character that DC created that is like a similar? It's funny because you don't always want them to be similar. It's like part of the fun of making it different. So like, I'll tell you the one that I did for the Wizard contest when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I think that's before. I did a story about what I pitched to them was a story about, if I remember this correctly, it was like Richie Queen, who was a mix of Richard Rider and Oliver Queen.
Nice.
He falls off a boat, he lands on the island, and he gets the Nova Force there, and then he takes off and he becomes Green Nova. And that's what I did. So I drew a picture of him where there was like an arrow. I basically took the Nova logo and I made it like arrows instead, and that's what I was going for, was that. I did not win, and I actually don't think they ever did the contest. I think they sent out and then they never did it. I'm sure there was some kind of legal, like, you never know what contests and stuff kind of get weird.
True.
You're like, if you're doing something that's close to what a publisher might do, they might shut down a contest. If it's not an official contest with those publishers, and I'm sure there was some kind of, I might be wrong. I probably ask, like, I know so many people that used to work at Wizard. I could probably just text them and ask what happened.
That's true. Like, hey, buddy, what's going on? Ninetail Phoenix pitched it. Superboy Prime with Sentry.
Oh, dude. Yes.
Overpowered.
Sentry Prime.
Sentry Prime.
Nailed it in one. That's why he's the writer, everyone.
Yeah.
Sentry Prime. Yeah, that's really fun. And then you have like the Void is like, because the whole thing with Superboy Prime is they from our world, right?
Yeah,
so that gets really interesting if you start to like mess with the idea of like Wizard creating the fake Sentry stuff ahead of time.
Yeah.
That it was like a kid reading Wizard.
And is the Void just angry comments at that point? Is he just like hearing like angry comments in his head?
Yeah. I like Sentry Prime, but what if we just call him Wizard?
Wizard is fun. I mean, I think if we were gonna go on the Wizard path, you save that for something else.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I think if you're gonna do a whole character based off of a Wizard, I think they did that in when Sam Humphries and Joe Jonas were doing Hero for Hire. Joe did all those different styles. It was awesome to watch that book and how he was really doing all those different styles. And I think they had like kind of an amalgamish thing at one point. It was very 90s. It was like 90s Man or something like that.
Gotcha.
Which I'm surprised there hasn't been a 90s Man. I'm going to use that now. That's in my notebook. I'm writing down 90s Man.
Yeah.
He probably looked like that guy from, I think one of the most, I would say quintessential, but like, sometimes when I think about 90s comics, I think about a lot of things, but I also think about that video game on the Sega Genesis. The one where it was like that,
Comic Zone.
Yeah. I think about that dude and how he was like jumping through the pages. That's a game I kind of wish somebody would like get back to, but I think about that. I feel like that's 90s Man.
I agree. 100%.
But he's jumping through 90s comics. Like that's his power. He can jump through 90s comics.
I love that.
This morning I was talking to somebody about what was going on. I think I told you right, 1994. We were just like going back and forth on stuff about 94. And I know way too much about 90s comics. Anyway, all right, what else you got? I like
what else we got?
Yeah.
Joel, let's hit his with somebody.
Okay, here you're saying we had we didn't have near as many heroes. Here's one that just came to me: Angel of the X-Men, Geoforce of the Outsiders come together and become Earth Angel.
Oh,
I started with the puns and worked backwards.
I like it because I like it. It's not like unexpected. Because we were like Angel, and I was like, okay, an X-Men member. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because then you do a whole thing where it's like you can still keep because they're both rich. Right? Or Geoforce rich, but he's royalty.
He's royalty.
So you can still do the whole thing. You can be like, oh, he was royalty, and you make up some name where instead of Markovia, it's like, I'm trying to think of a way of merging like Worthington and Covia.
Oh
like,
yeah, I like.
You know what I mean? Like some kind of thing. He's still royalty. He's still rich. They want to hide the fact that he has wings, but he also can do. I don't know how you would do his powers though, right? Because how do you merge is it just wings and he has earth powers?
That's the wings. They flap and they create like shockwaves.
Wait a minute. So you know how Geoforce can make stuff with Earth, like the hands and stuff? He makes the wings.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, and he
Stone
flies.
wings. Yeah.
Yeah,
Love
makes
it.
like big old stone wing. He's like a gargoyle almost.
Oh, that's
Oh.
cool.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Like really kind of shape him around like a gargoyle, and then he could be perched on the castles and whatever we call Markovia and stuff. And it's like legends of like, oh, there's a man made of earth that he flies, you know. And then here's the thing: you have to figure out the opposite though, right? Because if he's air and earth, you got to find somebody who's because here's what you got to do: we got to find somebody who's a mix of fire and water, right? So you have to find somebody that would be there. So do you get like Firestar and this can't be right because it can't be Firestar and Hydro Man.
Mera.
Oh,
that's why I'm getting my Marvel people mixed up. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, you do Mera and Firestar.
Yeah,
and it's like I could totally see that. You basically take instead of the yellow, you make it the scaly green, or you keep it yellow and you make it scales. But yeah.
I had another good fire lady too. I was pretty proud of this one. You take Volcana, really underrated Superman foe who we don't see as much, great on the Harley show, with Ravonna Renslayer. You put them together and they become Hot Minute.
Oh my god, you two are so funny. You're all about the puns, but also the deep dives. I'm over here being like, "Where's the money at?
Where's the money?" Well, how about this? I got a little bit of money. I got a little bit of '90s money for you.
Oh yeah,
right?
Like '90s money. Let's see what you
this
got.
is.
I wish we all had.
I know, right? Yeah, pre-orders are 2 million, just like Gen 13 #1.
There's been stories about people with like early '90s books. I probably shouldn't tell this, but I know there's stories about people in like the really early '90s who would like ink an issue of certain comics and be like, "Oh, I can buy a car." Like, oh, I did a couple issues of this book. I'm gonna go buy a house. Like that was real. So I mean, we all do well now, but nobody's
not like that.
Nobody's not like that. Not like that. Anyway, all right, what you got? Here, look,
all right.
show me money.
All right, this one. Now, of course, in Amalgam, we do have we have mergings of both these characters, so we were just kind of pitching around ideas. But Ghost Rider and Lobo become death metal.
I mean, you're talking about two of my favorite.
I'm sorry, no, death metal was somebody else. I'm sorry, it's Bonesaw.
Yeah, Bonesaw.
I think you're gonna call him like Frag Rider or something like that.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I didn't want to go like too in one direction, like, you know, really like preferring one guy's stuff over the other. So
I mean, they both ride the dogs. I mean, essentially what you're talking about is Cosmic Ghost Rider, to be fair.
My wife said the exact same thing to me. She goes, "That exists, and his name's Cosmic Ghost Rider, and Josh is gonna know that." And I was like, "No, he won't."
Because I mean, in my head, like, so listen, like, I think I told you, I have that giant McFarlane motorcycle that they did with Lobo.
Yeah,
it's huge. Did I tell you? I have like no idea where I'm putting in my office.
No, I know, because you have a Lobo section on the top right.
Yeah. That's right. I have the Lobo section up here, and I can't do anything with it. There's no way it's going to fit up there. I also have the Cosmic Ghost Rider Hasbro one, the big one with the motorcycle and stuff like that. I have that one. I like that design a lot.
Me too.
So I guess you put them next to each other, and then it is a thing of like they're both space motorcycle people, basically.
Yes.
You know, so I mean, that's interesting. Like, if Lobo,
I guess you could just do Lobo and Cosmic Ghost Rider and just drop the Catch thing and just go.
Well, I wonder. I've actually been rereading all the Ghost Rider Danny Catch stuff right now. I'm on like.
Aren't they great?
Yeah, they're awesome. And the art
insane.
Yeah.
The art text here, and nobody draws a skull like that.
Dude, yeah, there's some really cool pages in there, really cool sequencing. But it's funny how I'm on like issue 10 or 11, and they're still dealing with the same plot from issue 1. Except Punisher showed up for 2 issues.
Nice. Oh, that's great. That was
but they were still dealing with the plot. Like, it was still the same plot, and I was like, "This is fascinating." There's like subplots and stuff, but not really. It's like we're 11 issues in. Listen, I can relate. I've done this too. You know, you're like, there's a part of me that's like, when does he meet like the X-Men or something?
27.
Well, it's also in that actual X-Men book, the Jim Lee stuff, which is that stuff is super cool. But
we just did that episode on the show. It was they were like, why did you do this?
I saw that stuff. Yeah. I reread Jim Lee's X-Men #1 on Saturday. I was on it. I was just thinking about issue 1s and I obsess over issue 1s, and then I was thinking about team books, and we talked about this team books real hard, and so I was rereading Jim's X-Men #1, and I was just like, dude, this is a work of art. Like, you really start to look at it again, and you're just like, man, Jim was just going for it, and it's like every single page, and so much happens that first issue. Anyway, I like Rider and Lobo. I think that's fun because then what's the story though? Is it like Lobo is in space?
Oh, Lobo dies and he makes a deal with Mephisto or
so it's that he doesn't find the motorcycle. So it's not Daddy Kish, it's Johnny Blaze making the deal with the
You got it, because I mean, like, otherwise, because the Johnny Blaze stuff is like there's the oh god, what's his name? He's a descendant of the other guy. And he's got to touch the enchanted like gas cap. Like, there's too much.
I wonder. I mean, I know they've done
Noble
Lobo.
Kale. That's what I'm thinking of.
They've done Lobo Goes to Hell and all that stuff. Like that's been done. So I'm trying to think of like how you would
Something
do it
new.
differently. But yeah, him making a deal with the devil to become like he dies. So if Lobo dies, makes a deal with the devil, and they give him a motorcycle. He'd be like, cool, and they give him the penance stare. But there'd be.
Yeah,
I do think I like Bone Sub. I did like death metal, and I do think you should lean into kind of the whole like heavy metal aspect of his
the death metal I merged Cyborg, Superman, and Deathlock.
Oh, that's cool. That's interesting. So who's the
right? It'd be like a Hank Henshaw type character, probably.
Hank Henshaw, but on somebody else.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Like Henshaw.
Like
I mean,
Captain
you're
America
going
or something.
Oh,
Super Soldier! Oh my God, it's Cyborg Super Soldier.
Cyborg Super Soldier. That's actually that's funny about Cyborg Superman is that he's Hank Henshaw, right? Like posing. You could take that character and put him on so many characters in Marvel. Just be like, oh, now they're half cyborg and have it be.
That's very true.
Like that with like an energy shield,
dude.
And he's now super cyborg.
Super cyborg.
The shield and it's the metal arm, which is sort of like Winter Soldier. And actually, that's the thing. It's funny when you mentioned Jason Todd. I mean, because the obvious thing that they couldn't do then is Jason Todd, Bucky. Well, it's them together.
Yes.
Because it's so weird. I've talked with the creators before that don't know about this. I think you and I talked about this, that it was so weird that like Jason Todd and Bucky came back at the same time.
I know,
right?
They were not talking at the time. So it was a coincidence that they decided to bring them both back at the same time.
Like the same month, wasn't it?
Well, same year, dude. It was weird. Batman, oddly, and Batman and Captain America always run on these weird parallels we've seen over time, but yeah, who you guess? So it was a Winter Soldier and Jason Todd. What would you call that? Would you call it Red?
Russian Red.
I was gonna say Red Mist, but yeah, I like that.
Call him Red Mist. Why would you call him Mist though?
The Red Mist is because it's a red hood and he kills people. The Red Mist is like the like the.
Well, isn't the Red
blood
Mist
splatter.
isn't the Red Mist
in Kick-Ass? Yeah, when Millar have a problem.
Millar stuff. That's that character. Yeah, that's right. Red Mist.
That's McLovin is Red Mist, which I think is also like a Britishism for being pissed off. Red Mist, I'm right pissed.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like what would you, but I wonder how that origin would work. Okay, so then you have.
Oh, he was the partner. He gets he was on the rocket. He falls in.
But that's what's funny about those mashups, right? Is that like that's the obvious mashup is Winter Soldier and Red Hood, but those characters are not like Batman and Captain America aren't the ones that are mashed up. It's Batman, Wolverine, and then you have Superman and Captain America, and so there's I think there's actually something interesting to play about that where it's like maybe he was like both their sidekicks, or he died on a mission with both of them. Here's the thing that's funny is that I don't think, and somebody could tell me that maybe he's an expert in Amalgam stuff in the chat, did they ever do an equivalent of World's Finest?
There's no World's Finest.
So yeah, because you could have a book. This would be awesome. This would be a fun Amalgam comic. If you have Super Soldier, and then is it Dark Claw? Dark Claw. Yeah, okay, Dark Claw. And it's two of them, and you find out that at one point they were on a mission, and they both had like a joint sidekick, basically.
Yeah.
Now they were
Rick Jones.
Well, dude, I mean,
type character. Yeah, that Rick Jones is a great example of somebody who's been sidekicks for like a million people.
Everybody. Yeah.
And then he died on a mission a long time ago, and now he's back and he wants revenge on both of them. And that's
I
how
love
it. And they had the reason why there's no team ups with them is because they don't talk anymore because of what happened.
Yes.
And then they get back together now because somebody's coming for them, and then it's this cool confrontation. Yeah, man,
I like it a lot.
What would you call it? So Dark Claw and Super Soldier, and you can't call it. What's a? Do you call it like? I'm trying to think of like Marvel. You have Marvel team up.
Yes.
Right. So what is the
Amalgam team up? But like you want to go more.
Do you just go? Marvel's Finest.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah,
Marvel.
I feel like that's easy. I feel like that's what you would call that book, and then you'd have those two characters, and that's a cool 6-issue. That's always the thing that was so funny about those books is that there were times where like, I want this to keep going. Like, I want more of this. One of them is one of my favorite. I'm gonna say I'll call it plot tropes, but it's the one, and I'm gonna totally blank on what it's called, but it's the one with Elektra. It's Elektra and
Catwoman.
Catwoman, right? But I forget what their names are. It's like Cat's Claw or something. I don't remember what their names are now.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay.
What are their names? But the plot of that is they have to go into basically Wilson Fisk's building, but Wilson Fisk is also a bullseye, I think, or something weird.
Oh yeah. Their name? Oh my God! It's Cat's Eye.
I was close,
but it's it's SAI, like it's a sigh.
And assassin, right?
Yes, an assassin. Yes,
an assassin. Okay, I'm remembering this stuff. But Wilson Fisk was merged with somebody else, and I can't remember who it was now. It's a DC character, obviously. It has to be.
Oh,
but
oh, the book was called Assassins. It was Deathstroke and Elektra.
Yeah,
and
okay.
Catwoman and somebody else.
But
they call her Elektra Kyle. Oh my God, what is happening?
So crazy. Oh, so it was Elektra and Catwoman merged, and then it was. Damn, I can't remember who that person was. But basically, the plot of that issue is they go into the bottom of a building, and Kingpin is at the top, and they have to work their way up the building to get to Kingpin. This is
so it's the Raid.
The Raid. This is Dread. When I was a kid, I was like, this is one of the best like one-issue plots. Is we're here, we have to work our way up the building. It's like a trope I like. Even what is that? There's another movie, Smoking Aces is similar, right?
Oh, love that one.
And it's like, so for me, I was always like, this is like one of the best plot devices ever. Is like, we're here, we gotta go. It's obviously, it can go get flipped where we're here, we gotta go down. But that one was fun. It's like we're starting at the bottom of the building, gonna work our way up, and that's the plot of that comic. And so I remember when people were going about the Raid, and I heard the plot of the Raid before I watched it, and I was like, that's the plot of a Amalgam comic book. And then when I saw Dread, and some people were like, oh, Dread is ripping off Raid, I was like, no, ripping off an Amalgam.
Even older. Every good idea has been done.
Assassins.
It was Big Question, by the way. It was Kingpin and Riddler of all things.
Oh my God.
Oh, it was Riddler and Kingpin. I like that though. Big Question. That's really fun.
Joel had a Kingpin merge too, by the way.
Oh, what's your Kingpin merge?
Kingpin plus Black Manta equals the Kingfisher, the ocean's #1 crime lord.
That's really funny. I had to think back to that time period when they were doing this, and it must have been such a blast. Yeah. Like being in a room, mapping this stuff out, trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what was going to go where, how to not contradict each other. Because there were probably stuff. I'm sure there is. I haven't read this stuff in a long time. I sold I sold all my Amalgam comics when I sold my collection, and then immediately regretted it because I was like, it was like one of those things you sell it, and then you're like, oh, this will never be in print again. But now it is. They're putting it in print now, which is very exciting.
Yep.
I know it's awesome. It's very exciting. I wish that they would reprint. I know they're reprinting all the crossovers. The one that I wish they would reprint, not inside that, is the Spider-Man or Superman Spider-Man, because it was bigger.
Oh
no, but it's being collected in the same book.
Yes, no, you're right. I have
should do it as like a deluxe hardcover, bigger.
I got both Batman and Hulk and Superman and Spider-Man, the big collected.
Yeah, I kind of wish they would do like those
oversized.
I almost wonder if I'm sure sometimes it's logistical stuff. It's probably like but
the fact that Jim Lee drew a friggin' new cover says
I know. I saw that yesterday and I was like, holy crap, it's so cool. I mean, remember when John Romita did with Thorion?
Yeah,
and that's what got him the job on Thor, and it was just like this dude. And it's crazy because I know that when John Romita was at DC, he didn't draw any Fourth World stuff. And it is so shocking that he didn't do like a Superman arc with like Superman and the Fourth World stuff, because it would have looked dope. Yeah. The only time, I might be wrong on this, I might be kind of wrong. I'm trying to remember. I looked this up, and I think there was something else. But the only time John Romita really ever drew Darkseid, like Darkseid, because he did it in Thorion, but the time he ever did Darkseid was at the end of Infinite Frontier.
Was for you.
Yeah, on the last page. Yeah. I've been trying to get that last page, but yeah, it's like that was the only time he ever drew Darkseid, was in that moment when he killed the Quintessence.
Yeah,
and like, I wish he had just that was the last job he did before he went back to Marvel.
Wow.
So I've always been like, that was literally the last thing he did. I think he may have done some covers after that before, but we knew he was leaving for Marvel when he was doing that last sequence. But it was like a dream come true because I love John Romita, and I've talked to him a bit, and he's awesome. He's like one of my favorite artists, and so it's like I got to work with him just for whatever it was. It was like 5 pages, and then he left for Marvel. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, and he lends himself to that kind of stuff, to like a Kirby sensibility. He's got the square jaws, and it's
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'm wrong about something. Maybe he did a cover or something like that, but I'm pretty sure we looked into it and we couldn't find anything else that he had done that was like fourth worldy type stuff. But he did Thorion, and he did Thor, and that Thor book was good, and with Dan Higgins, and yeah. Or what else you got? I got time for one more.
Oh man,
what are you gonna end on?
Okay, you had a really good Jessica Jones one there, Sal.
I did.
Jones. All right, what do you got? Let's hear
it. I put Jessica Jones with Catwoman, and I called her Jewel Thief.
Well, now you got me thinking about who is
the Jessica Jones new equivalent.
Well, also that's funny that you would you put her with like Renee Montoya or something? I mean, I guess
I like that.
That's pretty good.
Because she's the new question, right? So if you can combine her with Jessica Jones, I mean, I don't know what you would call her. I always forget that Jessica Jones' name was Jewel.
Yeah.
Did they ever say why she chose Jewel?
No, she just did.
Okay. That's a very good question.
Yeah.
I should just text.
I guess she was a teenager in the 90s, and she liked throaty poetic musicians.
I don't remember how she got her powers, though. That might be part of why.
I assume she was like hard as diamonds, right?
Yeah, she fell.
She was a jewel or something.
She got into a car accident, and I think like some crap got on her. Like I think that was.
That's one of my favorite retrofits. Is her going to school, Peter Parker.
Yeah,
Peter Parker, and being like, she was she viewed Peter. Peter was like, "I'm a nerd," and she was like, "No, you're not."
Right, this dude is hot.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You mean the guy that has all these friends?
Right.
That's why she's a detective.
The dude who's dating like nonstop supermodels.
Yeah.
Or women works with.
Right. At what point were you a nerd? Yeah.
Yeah. At what point was Peter Parker a nerd? Except for like, I don't know. I mean, he still had friends.
Yeah. I
lived with his aunt and his uncle. Such a nerd.
Oh, you nerd. Well, he did dress like a nerd. He didn't have to wear that vest.
He did dress like a nerd, but I mean, come on. It was the early 60s. Everybody dressed like a nerd.
That's true. I did put I have a Black Label book, which is just U.S. Agent and Peacemaker.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That's totally
right?
fun. What do you call it?
Freedom Ring.
Freedom Ring. That's funny. Yeah. Like Left Freedom Ring. That's really fun.
Yeah.
U.S. Agent.
He lends himself up to the name, by the way, John Smith. Very all-American name.
Well, what's funny about that story makes itself, right? Because it's like, oh, super soldier, something happened. They had to get a new one. He didn't. He picked up a gun, decided that he wasn't going to hold a shield anymore, and that's
right.
No, that one writes itself. That is funny. Like that's one of the things I love about the Amalgam stuff. It's like the ones that they don't feel like you're having to jump through hoops to get to.
Yes. When you're like, oh, this
just makes sense. Yeah. Well, let's go with that. And the story kind of writes itself after that. I wonder. I don't know anything about that time period in terms of that process. I'm sure Brevoort probably knows. I would love to ask Brevoort at some point and just be like, what was that like in terms of approvals? And then was it as easy as that? Because it was like, what we're talking about is like, once you start cracking a little bit of how these characters are matched up, then the story does kind of write itself. And then the problem, then you have to debate. And this is my thing to explain to anyone who wants to be a writer listening to this. You always have to kind of like vomit out the ideas. And then you have to take that step back and you have to look at it again and give it a moment to breathe before you decide if this is the right one. It's tough because sometimes the first idea is the best idea, right? Yeah. And you shouldn't lose sight of that. But it is okay to kind of take a minute and throw some things around. It can be annoying sometimes, especially if you're in a room full of people and you're like, we got it, we figured it out. And then somebody's like, hold on.
They poke one hole in it and it completely
how do we amp it? How do you amp it up? How do you kick the tires? How do you see where it's going to go? You start asking questions of it. And that can be a hard process at times when you're trying to be creative. But, so it is something to do when you're going through this. And I'd be curious about that with the Amalgam characters. Did they just throw stuff at the wall? And then who was even in that room? Like, who was making these systems? Which creators were in those rooms?
Oh, no, we lost him.
Oh, he was on a roll there, too, for a minute.
Oh, he's back.
There we go. Back.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's probably the universe telling me it's time to go. They're like,
that's fair.
You have to write comic books today.
Yeah, you got work to do, man.
I'm working on Batman and Robin right now, so I'm trying to. But that's the thing. I have to finish that script today. Fridays are when scripts are due.
That's right. That's why we don't do our show on, on Fridays.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Wednesdays when we usually record. Anyway,
exactly. But yeah,
knows our secrets now.
Yes,
This
Josh,
all
thank you so
sounds
much for
good.
doing this.
Yeah,
Pleasure.
no problem. I like this. I like the direction it's going. Nice to meet you, Joel.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, I do like the direction this is going in. You should keep at it. But that would be a thing I would challenge you both with now is a few more heroes, and then if you were actually packaging a book together, like what would you do? Do you think would actually sell? Like what would be the thing to sell, and what would get people hyped the most? That isn't just a joke. That would be the thing to keep in mind. That's one of the hardest parts of this sometimes is that like, you know, you can only take cute so far, you know.
Yes. Then it becomes grating.
So, what is that thing that's gonna make your readers be like, I'm gonna buy this? And then also think about it from a retailer's perspective. They also have to be able to pitch it from the counter, right? So think about that too. If they're selling they're selling this character, can they easily like that's the thing about Harley and Deadpool. You know, for some people that's like obvious, and then there's some people that might be like, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're the person at the counter, how do you say this is a mashup of these things? Like that's why I think, you know, it's funny. I think Harley and Deadpool is probably the one that would sell the most out of all.
I think so. Oh, definitely.
You know? But that would be the only thing I would push on you about the idea of calling it a gimmick, which is really funny, is if there's any way to like have a subtitle of that book that also clues a reader in as to what it is.
Yeah,
right. Like
and they actually
like the Merc for money, but what's gimmicks Merc for money?
Yeah, the Merc for laughs or something. I mean, that's the thing that they do with those books, the Amalgam books, is that there were subtitles at times that kind of give you a little bit of extra push to it. So that's what I would challenge you with, is like if you're actually gonna put this together. If there are artists in here, I am super excited to see.
Any of these ideas
together. Yeah, this.
And I gotta see. What was it? What was your pitch for Green Arrow and Nova? What was his name?
Green Nova. Oh, Richie Queen.
Yeah, Richie Queen. Green Nova. Also, I want to see some Green Nova.
This is what's funny about this. I will end on this, is that like that shows you how deep my obsession with having Oliver Queen go into space was.
Yeah, even back then.
The moment they give me a Green Arrow book, I'm like, send him to space.
Yeah.
This has been in the works for 30 years. All right. I will
love it.
I'll catch you guys later.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I'm excited to see what you come up with more. And I'm this is fun. I'll talk to you guys later.
Awesome. Take care, man. Thanks so much.
No problem. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, editor-in-chief of Amalgam Comics, Joshua Williamson. Oh,
Joshua Williamson knows my name and laughed at some of my bad puns. The man who's writing Green Arrow now.
Yeah. Oh, man. Those are all my ideas. I did have one more, and it was just for Josh, because it was just like for him to give me a very cross look. And it was Godspeed and Spider-Man 2099. I was just going to call it Quick Shock. Right?
That.
Yeah, he would have been like, man.
God damn it.
He would have ended the show. He would have been like, well, I got to go.
I think I actually have some worse ones here. Paste Pot Pete and Clayface come together to become Claypot Pete. Thank you.
I just call him, God, what do you call, like...
Pottery.
Like adobo? Like Adobe? Yeah.
What's another really bad one I hit her? Oh, Two-Face and Mr. Negative come together to become Shadow Half.
Ooh. That one's not bad. That's a cool combo. Mr. Negative also, hey, new character.
Also, too, I was also going to call him, like, Darker Side, but I'm like, no, there's already a Dark Side. Shadow Half works a little better.
Yeah, no, that's if you merge Dark Side with Mr. Negative and make Darker Side.
Did they merge Dark Side and Thanos? Because that feels like an obvious no-brainer.
I think so. Like, Thanos Side, I feel like that's the guy, but then I looked at like the Jim Lee Amalgam picture, and it looks like he's a Watu.
Yeah, right, with the high collar and everything.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't remember at all. I mean, he didn't have a book.
No,
so I don't know. But yeah, man, I don't know. Yeah, so let's go through some super chats. We got some amazing ideas from our audience here, and then we'll hear some more Joel pitches, and then we'll wrap it up. But oh, here we go. Yeah, let me make sure I got at the same place here. Make sure we didn't repeat. Here we go. Yeah, I think J Sage says it's my time to shine. Yeah, he taught about building them all my life. Con Al and Genus Vel and John Kent and Justice. Captain America, Captain Atomica.
Oh, I like Captain Atomica. That's good.
Right. Carl Maxey, Black Bolt, Black Canary, Sonic Boom. Love it.
Solid.
Hayden Hamilton, Dick Grayson, and Peter Parker, a rat kid.
Funny.
Wilbert Robinson, Red Hood, and Winter Soldier, Red Winter. That's not bad.
Red Winter's solid. Yeah, that's
Bonesaw's ready. Steve Rogers, Batman, Liberty's Knight. Jones, Bigby Wolf, and Jamie Madrox, Wolfpack, the ultimate detective team.
That's right. I had a good one too. Multiple Man, Jamie Madrox plus Detective Chimp, they become monkey business because there's many monkeys.
Oh my god. Monkey Business is greenlit. No notes on that one. Gonna give it to friggin' Al Ewing and just move on.
Yeah.
Patrick Lawson, sorry. Thank you for
Patrick Stewart's in the chat.
I love Amalgam, you guys. Captain America and Batman, Dark Sentinel. I like that. Nightwing and Bucky, Red Mask. That's pretty cool. U.S. Agent Tim Drake, Falcon. I like that. Damian, Ethan, Steve. Damian and Ethan, Steve fight the industry complex. Gives robbing super serious. Okay, there we go.
That's a pitch.
Nine-Tail Phoenix, Duke Thomas, The Signal, and Eli Bradley, The Patriot, America's Light. Yeah, I like that idea too. Steel and Ironheart, Steelheart. That one's like, yeah, that's fully formed.
Phoenix has been killing it in this one. I'm not gonna lie. That's
True.
like the third or fourth really good one.
Yeah, Ultimate Oreo, Arcade, and the Clue Master to make the Game Master. That's good.
I had one too for Arcade that didn't quite make it because it doesn't 100% work. Arcade and Constantine become Barcade. Because he's always at bars and he's always drunk. See, it doesn't quite work.
George J. Whenever I think of Amalgam or for Amanda Waller, I think of Maria Hill.
Yes.
Oh, yes. More fitting character for Waller? No. Maria Hill. Yes. Love it.
I had this too. I couldn't think of a good name though for it because neither of them really have super names. So you'd just be fusing their names together. And then I'm like, but we should have something good to come up with like Duplicity or something.
Exactly. Like Clandestine, which is a team at Marvel, but like, yeah, I don't know.
And then I was thinking maybe like Waller and Mystique because, Mystique, is very much in that same sort of morally gray, left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing sort of thing. What does that become?
Yeah, I don't know. I like it though. Jam Call
Wet
X,
Work.
DC's Wet Work. I like that one. DC's The Movement and Doom Patrol, Morlocks and the Runaways as the Strays. Protectors of the homeless, outcast, and seeking refuge in the Undercities. They'll help the surface, but prefer to keep themselves. Yeah,
I like the Strays a lot. Actually, the more I think about that, that looks good on a poster. That
does. The Strays has something cool going there. Yeah. Critic of Critics, Wonder Woman and Thor, Thunder Warrior. That's actually, I like that name. Child of Two Mythologies, fights with both the sword and hammer. Name meaning no war work. I kind of dig it.
I dig it. I remember in the last episode we fused Thor and Hawkman together, and they became Odin's Raven, and we were quite proud of that one.
We were, yeah. Oh, that's nice. Evil Mathematician, Craven, and Catman, Big Cat.
Oh no, watch out for the big cat.
I just call him Meow.
Mr. Meow. That's Mr. Meow to you.
Mr. Meow. Oh man. Okay, wait a minute. Mr. Freeze and is there? Yeah, and Craven is Mr. Meow. Mr. Catch in the style of Amalgam, Storm, where it's just Storm, but an Amazonian. Exactly, because that's what it is. Amazon is just. What if Aurora Monroe also landed on the island?
It'd probably be pretty cool.
Rocket Raccoon, but he's from Krypton. I kind of like that too. Yeah. Matthew Terlaga, the Metal Men combined with Brute Force, the Metanimals.
Fuck, that is an 80s cartoon right there. The Metanimals.
Fable Daredevil's tagline is the man without fear, so the Nothing's tagline would be the man with no name. Oh, I like that.
Ooh, shit. The man with no past.
Yeah. Mecha Shakes, the Hulk and Flash amalgamated to become Short Fuse. You won't catch him when he's angry.
Solid, good. As Josh said, good tagline. You need a tagline on it.
Yeah, we do. We're learning. Denial, Daredevil Inspector, God's Wrath, a Catholic guilt-riddled entity that punishes the corrupt in the guise of a pale white hellspawn. Yeah,
I call him Zealot, but I guess Zealot is also technically already taken.
Yeah, Zealot's a Wildcats character. You got to merge her too. Mark Curtin, Darkhawk, and Red Tornado, Ruby Hawk.
Ruby.
Sleepwalker and Dreamer, Dreamwalker. There we go. There's a book that no one would buy except me.
Yeah, really, and I love every minute of it.
Yeah, exactly. Carl Maxey, Doomsday and Abomination. Doomination.
Love it.
Clea and Constantine, Cleestine, Nick Fury, and Amanda Waller, Amanda Fury. Amanda Fury is not bad. Nick Fury, actually, and Amanda Waller. That's the one.
That's the winner right there.
It's Amanda Waller with an eye patch.
A man to Fury.
Yeah. Nine-Tail Phoenix, Storm and Nubia, the leader. I like that. Or Lifebringer, like Nubia's New Origins. Yeah.
I like Lifebringer more.
Yeah, I like it too.
Because there's already a leader who's a Hulk villain.
Yeah. Patrick Lawson, Superman and Thor, Apollo. I like that a lot. Wonder Woman and Iron Man, Mystic Stone. Banished from the Isle of Mystic Women, genuine in both Mystic and Tech, left for Man Science. Yeah.
Interesting. There's something there.
Nine-Tail Phoenix, War Machine and Steel Warrior. Good name.
Yeah.
Lee Allen, Cyborg fuses Ultron, human Vic Stone struggles to keep over Ultron's AI. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cyborg
shocked we didn't pitch something like that. Or even Pimtron and Cyborg Superman, because they're both half of someone else.
Yeah.
Do they both become half robot, or do they become half Hank Pym and half Superman?
Exactly. I'm full robot. Coronet Chris, John Constantine, Dr. Voodoo, John Voodoo. Uncle Oreo, Jade, Obsidian, and Cloak and Dagger, Dawn and Dusk.
Hey,
good use of that name.
That's how's there not a Dawn and Dusk already?
Right? Nine-Tail Phoenix, the Champions and T-Titans, the Legacies. Another great one. I love
the
that.
Legacies is good too.
That feels like
that feels like someone has pitched that at some point. What do we call this new book? The Legacies?
The Legacies, actually, I would also pitch as our Dark Claw and Super Soldier team-up book also. Like, that's another...
So good.
Matthew Terlaga combined 2 joke characters, NFL Super Pro and Arm Fall Off Boy. I have no one to call it. I'd call it Go Long.
Yeah, Go Long is, or like something about a sports injury. What's that called? Like when you...
Tennis elbow?
Or Tommy John, when you got to get Tommy John surgery because you fucked up your arm.
I love it. Denial, Eobard Thawne and Kang. Flashback. That's a sell. That's
Flashback is solid.
Flashback time-traveling conqueror of the future who's determined to rule over time. Nine-Tail Phoenix, Damage, and American Kaiju. Extinction.
Extinctions.
Good name. Ray Farr, ComicPop. Woo! Holy cow, this episode is stacked. Hi, guys. How about DC Scarecrow, Marvel Scarecrow to combine Scarecrow?
Scarecrow. It should be Scarecrow Square. They should put a little 2 on it.
Right? I think they did already. Like, I think that actually is what they did in Amalgam, was to make 2 Scarecrows.
They made Squarecrow?
Yeah. Squarecrow. That's it. Squarecrow. Or you go Rick and Morty, just call it 2 crows.
Hey, you can't stop 2 crows. They're too powerful.
The derpiest of derps. Okay, one more. Green Arrow and Daredevil, the Hellfire Archer, who then dates Black Canary and Elektra, Harpy.
We had a very blaxploitation 70s one for Black Canary and Misty Knight. She just becomes Black Canary.
Yes. I like that a lot. I don't know why. I just think that's fun.
Again, she's like, yeah, that's my name. Again, like any of those exploitation movies, like The Black Godfather. I don't think they would let us write that one though, for obvious reasons.
No, that's not for us. That's just an idea that I'll just float out there, and then any number of amazing writers.
We'd pitch that idea, and Christopher Priest would be like, ha ha ha, very funny. Also, shut the fuck up. You don't get to write that one. I'm taking that one.
You're fired.
Yeah, worth it.
Fair. Yeah. Ultimate Oreo, Richard Dragon, and Iron Fist. Make Dragon Fist or even Iron Dragon. Dragon Fist. Stop. You hit oil. Last Starfighter. Here's one. Madame Fugonaut. Madame Web and Tempest Fugonaut. Oh my god, that's way better than Iwata-Not. I like Madame Fugonaut. It's just Tempest Fugonaut, but he can't walk.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shame.
Joan Fincher, Static and Human Torch, Rocket, and Invisible Woman.
There's something there.
Yeah, I really wanted to do something with Static, and I couldn't think of anything. I guess it would be Miles and Static, and it would be something awesome.
Shock Spider.
Right? Like Spider Shock or something like that.
Spider It's like, that's obvious, but it's like, it feels like we can do better. But hey, like Josh said, sometimes the first idea is actually the best idea, and you just need to come back to it.
Yeah, Spider Shock is okay, but it also leans towards like 2099 because of the
very
shock.
Much so, right?
I don't know. I like Static and Miles, though. I like that idea a lot. Hawk Hero, Gorilla Grodd, and Red Ghost make Scarlet back. Scarlet back? Like Silverback?
Like Silverback. Okay, that's good. See, that one, you got to think about that one for a second.
That's a thinking man's character.
That is.
Get out of
really
here.
Is.
Have
we not done more with Blade is my question, because we got blood and vampires.
Yeah, that's where my Red Mist came from. Was I put Blade and Red Hood together. So it's like Jason Todd became a freaking vampire, and he's called Red Mist. That was
Blade and Shining Knight become Blood Knight.
There we go, Blood Knight. Yeah. Blade. Yeah, because I couldn't think of like a vampire over at DC that like would be cool. So I was just like, nah.
What's up with that? Why is
Jay-
DC bereft of cool vampires?
Right? It's just Jace
What?
Jensen, Star Lord, and Lobo, Rocket Star.
Should it be Spaceship Superstar?
Ooh. Oh, call it Jefferson Starship.
Fuck yeah.
Silver Cricket using 2 characters that couldn't be used in the original Amalgam. Blue Marvel and Icon, marvelous.
Marvelous.
I love that. I love that a lot. Ultimate Oreo, Critique, Mystique, and Catwoman make Copycat. I love it. There is a Copycat at Marvel, but I still love it.
I think.
Yeah, I'll go for it anyway. Eclipso and Cathan from Rayfar. Lots of mini Darkhold fragments. Yeah. Oh my god. Raidu, Azrael, and Ben Reilly become the Usurper.
Usurper's a good, solid, like old-timey comic name too. I'm the Usurper.
I agree. Silver Cricket has a fun one I like as well. Dark Side and High Evolutionary, Dark Age, You Got the Inevitable Future. I like that a lot. Rogolzar and Rec Rap, Sal's Bane. Thanks to
we both tried to come up with ones for Venom and Bane. My idea was just call him El Veneno Negro, whatever Venom is in Spanish. The Black Venom.
Yeah, I liked Vengeance, but now there is one, and it's I think Josh named her, but
I believe he did.
Yeah, but Vengeance was my go-to for Venom, where it's just the logo. Yeah,
but now it's real.
Jamie Wild, hear me out, guys. Icon Blue Marvel, Blue Icon. See, people dig it. They know those two. I like Blue Icon. Thorn Identity, Hydra, and the Hive, Chimera.
Ooh, as an evil organization. We're fusing organizations now.
That's
pretty
fun.
Good.
That's something they did over at the Spider-Boy book, which I like a lot. And Jones 25 full, Cluemaster, Ben Reilly, and Kane, the Parker Brothers.
I think that's worth almost getting sued over.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. All right, let's come up with let's hash out one A-list, the big guns idea we can think of, and I noticed Josh was kind of like, there. Let's assume there is an established Amalgam already, so we can't use Batman, Wolverine, Spider-Man,
of course,
Superman, etc. So who are like the top? Because there's also Iron Lantern. They did that already.
They did.
I'm trying to think of like a superhero that exists. I guess the Sentry was the one, but I don't think that puts asses in seats.
No, again, just despite what many people seem to believe. I love in that new Sentry book, everyone's arguing, this is a disrespect to the Sentry. Guys, Marvel never gave a shit about Sentry as much as you did. They regularly killed him off in completely ridiculous ways. Stop your belly aching.
Right.
this is fine. Shut the hell up.
Yeah. I love Miles makes sense. I feel like Miles is one. I think Sentry is one that we did and we could try that. I
like your Jewel Thief. I don't know why I keep coming back to Jewel Thief. I like Jewel Thief a lot.
It's clever, right? Yeah, they merged Aquaman and Namor together. Somebody asked about
Makes
Aquaman.
Sense.
Trying to think of like new DC/Marvel inventions.
It's kind of hard, isn't it?
Right, that like didn't exist before.
Ghostmaker.
Right?
Which Ghostmaker already feels like an amalgam, doesn't he?
Ghostmaker is just like, I played Destiny once.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, Miles and Static Shock. I think Miles and Static Shock are sitting there. We just needed to come up with like a good name. But really quick, we also have another awesome comic book creator in our chat right now, Gavin Guidry.
Hey.
Gavin, have you got anything, by the way? We're pitching Amalgam characters. We need a new hero that's like A-list that post dates Amalgam.
This has been a real star-studded episode. But we had Josh, we got Gedry, we had Thorn Identity here a minute ago. Jeez,
it's true. Yeah, Jeff Thorne was here.
Yeah, we got to roll off the goddamn red carpet one of these days.
I know. Yeah. Thankfully, Thorne has been pitching him left and right, and he's like, Thorne's like, not only that, but like, I also have a pitch for you.
You can see who the writers are, who gets paid for it, and who makes podcasts.
Yeah, and who makes podcasts. Jam Call X, Bronze Tiger, and Luke Cage backhand, smacking fools and cleaning up the streets.
Fuck, I like that.
I think I got in trouble just reading that.
I tried to think of something for Luke Cage, but it was hard because but his superhero name is his name.
Yeah, it's true. No, Power Man is his
true enough. But then you add Power and Man to it doesn't give you a lot of room to work.
Yeah, I saw a what if recently. It was like an old what if, but it was like I was reminded of it where it was like what if Wonder Man was a woman and Power Man was a girl?
Huh.
And it was just like them standing there like a female version of Luke Cage and a female version of Wonder Man, and a letter just saying, "Don't even try it," from the distinguished competition.
Did you
That's
read
cute.
that Gail Simone Jessica Jones variant book? Because in one of those she becomes Power Woman.
Oh, I kind of love it. That's
There
great.
was several. That was a good one. There was one where she stayed a SHIELD agent. There was one where she kept the name of the paper there. She was Night Watch or Night Press or whatever.
Oh. Ooh, somebody got one with Venom Blast was their pitch for Miles and Static.
Venom Blast is
not
pretty
bad.
good too. I don't
Yeah.
hate it.
Yeah. Oh man, I like that a lot. I'm thinking. Yeah. Oh, Ray Farr, thank you. How about Venom Blast for Miles and Static?
Dig it.
Yeah, I dig it. It's close. I
it
feel like
rolls
we're
off the
almost
tongue.
there. It does. I mean, he says it a lot.
Bolt,
oh.
Spider, Bolt.
I missed the
something.
Wolfjack, Ghost Rider, and Etrigan combined to become Danny Blood, the Hell Rider. I mean, Hell Rider is just the book, right? That's
I can see that selling. That's a seller.
yeah. Oh man, yeah. Well, anyway, I think that's it. I think we gotta wrap it up, folks.
Yeah, I think we gotta, or else we're just gonna keep doing this forever. We could keep
Exactly.
going and going.
Shock Bites, god damn it.
Shock
and
Bites, all right.
Silvery Cricket, Ms. Marvel and Crush Breakthrough.
Hey,
I kind of like it.
I like Breakthrough.
Yeah.
Feels young, feels hip, feels now. Doesn't feel derivative of anything that came before.
Yeah, it's hip, it's now, it's wow, and how.
It's happening.
It's happening. Friggin' that was Erickson who came up with that first part, but that middle one was all me. We want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you to our super chatters for sponsoring today's show. Thank you to Joshua Williamson for our special guest. Thank you to Thorn Identity and Gavin Guidry for stopping by the chat and
hell yeah,
and lending an air of legitimacy to our little show. And if you are watching the show after the fact, listening to it, let us know in the comments down below. Yo, what's your pitch for an amalgam combination? And what is or if you're like, I don't want to come up with that, just tell us the name of the Static Shock Miles Morales character. That would be
yes. Let's workshop this.
All right. I feel like there is also a Kamala Khan merging, but I didn't even think about it.
Yeah,
so
who's like a young DC. I'm like Miss Marvel and Batgirl, but that they don't really have complementary anything.
Maybe Teen Lantern.
Maybe.
Yeah. But you know, because she's fun and new.
She is.
But yeah, Ms. Martian's fun too. Yeah. But anyway, that's it. We want to thank you so much for watching. We want to thank you our super chatters for sponsoring today's show. Thanks to the chat for keeping it cool and making this a really happening place to be. And we will see you guys next time with another episode. Before you go, check out Cape Joel, youtube.com/Cape Joel. And we came up with a bunch of interviews this last couple of weeks. Jason Aaron was on the show. You should check out that episode. Todd McFarlane will be on the show. That's going to drop on Tuesday. Yes, you got to check out these conversations. They're a lot of fun. Sideways, nice mention. And we will see you guys next time. Oh, Night Thrasher and the Signal. Blacklight. That's good. Blacklight.
Fuck Blacklight. Oh, someone had a good one too. Kamala Khan and Yara Flor. Miss Wonder.
I love it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
God, I wish Yara Flor stuck around in her own book because that was a beautiful book for a minute, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know.
Isn't there like an Amazon's Attack book now where they just put like all the extra Amazons in?
Yes, but there is a great moment in the Tom King Wonder Woman series where all the Wonder Women showed up.
Good.
And they're in the book now.
Good.
Like, it's cool, and they all fight Wonder Woman. It's actually kind of cool. Like, Jeff, definitely check that episode. You should read it, because that series is if you don't like the writing, you'll still love the art.
Hey, that's how I felt about a couple of those projects.
That's
where it's like, well, why am I still reading this? Oh, the pictures are pretty.
Yeah, because it's friggin' amazing looking.
Yeah.
But all right, folks, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Bye, everybody.